What's up everyone? Welcome back to another Eelsmo 15 video. My name is Ezra, and today's video we're beginning part 3 of working on my truck bed trailer project. Alright, this is nothing new at this point now. I actually originally started working on this video. I started part 3 by cutting off the bed mounts on that, and that started making me frustrated. So that I still need to cut off the bed mounts and then weld/glue them on. I don't know what I'm going to do yet about that. But today we're going to be working on the frame side, and more specifically, we're going to be replacing the leaf springs and taking off the overload equipment for multiple different reasons. Number one, as you can see, this one isn't so bad, but the +1 spring, I guess you can call it, is kind of cattywampus. And this side, I can't remember how much I've showed before. This one is broken. Now, it is one of the lower leaves, and it's not as critical, but I still want to be able to have not broken leaf springs, especially if I take this to the DOT department to get this thing inspected and, you know, registered so I can take this thing legally down the road. Now, I actually did replace leaf springs on my truck. Finally, I did upgrade them to a 5+1, so these are 3,600 pound springs, and they ride a little bit more stiff than the others that I've had in the past, or the other ones I had in the past. Still have the overload springs on, but these, I did keep the old ones. Now actually, I had another truck that I did leaf springs on, so this will be the third time I've done leaf springs in the last week. So this spring was off of the one truck that I did, and this one is off of my truck, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. But even though they're not in the best condition, they're not broken, and I'm gonna put them on this thing so they're matching. And yeah, enough talking, let's get to work. Now, the last 2 times I've done leaf springs on for Super Duties, my truck, and the other one I did at work, I had a lift, which was quite helpful. I was gonna do this at work, and then I realized I have a YouTube channel that I make videos for, and I want to make a video for this. So we're gonna do this at home. But I don't have a lift, of course, so I'm going to use the loader of the tractor, just kind of hold the back end of it. That thing doesn't weigh hardly anything, so hopefully the tractor should be strong enough to lift the back end of it up so I can get the weight off the ground and put the new springs on. So this ought to work. I was just trying to get the bolt through this hook, but it didn't work. And I remember I had these pretty handy cables for technically the grap, or the little, I don't even know what you call it, the rake for this. We had some spares. So anyway, I use it for a lot of different things. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start unbolting these top ones, these top bolts for the U-bolts, and then I'll start removing everything else. This is pretty simple. I've done this. This will be the third time I've done it now. So it is a fairly simple job. Yeah, just I guess watch and see what I do. Alright, so I do apologize. My both of my GoPro's battery died in the matter of 15 minutes, fully charged. So they both suck, but this GoPro's, I think, 9 years old. It's a GoPro Hero 3, I think is what it is. So I got it with the drone. I found it at a garage sale, so I couldn't really complain. I got it for super cheap. But I'm just gonna use my phone. Alright, so let me just talk to you about all the tools you'll need. You'll need a 21mm socket, a 24mm socket. I prefer to have both shallow and deep of both varieties, so you have a total of 4 sockets. This is going to be a 24, these are 24s. This nut is a 24, the head of the bolt is a 21. That's 21, and there is a tab in the back, so you shouldn't need that. Sometimes these tabs, there's a tab on the back, so this tab here keeps this bolt from spinning. Sometimes the nut here will spin, and the tab will slip, so you can get sometimes a regular wrench or a socket on there and hold that, but you don't have to remove this whole bolts at all. In fact, so a lot of times what happens is that the rubber bushings inside this bottom one here gets really, really swollen, and you can't hardly turn the bolts. That was on my truck, and that was on the other Super Duty that I did. And if you guys remember a few years ago when I did the same shackles and brackets on my 1997 Ford Ranger, these were really stiff as well. So they didn't really want to turn. I had to burn them with a torch and all that, and it was not fun. So what I ended up doing is just loosening it just enough that I can, and then taking this nut off. Now the problem is that you have to get this bolt out and it hits the frame. So what I did is I lower it down just enough where I can get this bolt out underneath the frame. What you will have to do is, if you have a trailer hitch, which most of you guys do, you'll have to take the trailer hitch off, and you can get this bolt out from in between the bottom of the frame and the trailer hitch. Now, I was lucky, I had a flatbed, so I took my trailer hitch off. I was just able to lower that shackle down and get it done. But you will need a pry bar and or a really big breaker bar. You can get a socket on this and turn it. You'll actually sometimes be able to turn the whole shackle, but you'll have to loosen that bolt first so you can get that keeper backed off. So you'll see all what I'm doing. First off, we'll start with the U-bolts. I will say, you may have to, well, number one, you might have to take the wheel off. Since I don't have anything on here, this is going to be super easy. But if you have like a regular bed, which most of you probably do, then it is going to be a little bit more challenging, but it is still doable. I've done it with both a flat bed, a regular bed, and now nothing. So I've had a lot of experience with this, but if you can't get an impact in here to get these bolts towards the back, you can just use a regular breaker bar. Use heat, like a torch or something, to heat those nuts up, clean off all the dirt. These are the cleanest bolts I've done. And yeah. Good grief, dude. I talk crap on Bauer all the time. My big Milwaukee didn't even do it. Is this charged? Yeah. Maybe these are just really tight. The torque spec for these is 185 foot-pounds. So one moment. I'm too lazy to go get a torch. I'll probably will have to anyway, but we'll see. I mean, these bolts aren't exactly like, oh, let's just break them off real quick. Most of you will have to probably use a breaker bar. Oh my, these are tighter than all the other ones I've done. Good grief. I'm gonna have to use a torch, aren't I? Ugh. I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna go get a torch and heat these bolts up. Okay, so our torch, it's barely windy outside, and our torch won't stay lit for more than 5 seconds. So I have another torch, and it's really just a flamethrower. Do not do this if you're doing this on any other truck. I'm a special case because I don't have a fuel tank on here. I don't have anything in here that I care about about saving. Except maybe the tires, which I probably should take off, but I'm going to try to just be careful and avoid them. But yeah, normally you can just use a small little hand torch, like a propane bottle, but I'm going to use a flamethrower. Now, you're technically not supposed to reuse U-bolts, but I'm going to reuse U-bolts. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Let's see if I can get it off without using a wrench. Nope. I have a 21mm wrench here. I don't know if I mentioned that before. You can use a crescent wrench. I just have the wrench, and I just know what size it is because I've done this two times now. Don't lose track of the nut. Now, as you can see, this bolt will not pop out of here, so I can take this the bolt out of the shackle. What we will have to do is lower this down, and honestly, this frame isn't horribly rusty. I may be lucky enough where I can take this bottom shackle out. Out of the other 2 times I've done this, you can't take this bolt out because it's just so seized in there with the rubber and this bottom bushing. I don't know why it's just the bottom one, but it does. But let's see what we can't do here first. Might get lucky here, hopefully. Ah! Well, that worked just how I wanted it to. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it is. So, with you're not going to have, of course, all this space if you're using this as a how-to. But what you can do is take the longest breaker bar you can buy or afford and turn that bolt. It'll do essentially what this did. This bolt will get stuck to this bushing inside, and it'll turn that whole thing down. But you do have to attach, you do have to remove the bolt on the front shackle first. So that's why I did that first. Yeah, hopefully you're smarter than me and you don't hold your whole rear end up by the trailer hitch because you won't be able to do that. Now I got to figure out how to take that bolt out, or really just support the frame. It's not the end of the world. I'll figure it out. All right, so I got the loader holding up the trailer. The only thing I didn't like about the situation originally when I was thinking about this is because this loader leaks down really fast, so I got to be quick. Next thing I got to do is I'm going to take a hammer and just hit this out of here. As you can see now that the trailer hitch is free. Tripped over the overload spring, that's nice. Here she is. Let's pick her on up. And she's out. Alright, gotta be quick about this. One thing when you're putting these springs in, I'll just pick it up and show y'all as quickly as I can. I guess I can always turn the tractor back on, lift it back up, but so these springs are not symmetrical. So you'll have, I don't know what this spring is called, but I call it the +1. You can take this part of this +1 spring is longer in the back. You want this part longer in the back. And this one up front is going to be shorter compared to this point here in the center. So now I can take this, line it up with the hole in the rear, do that first, and I'm already too low. I'll lift up the tractor's loader. Now, for those of you who have like traditional beds, what I found the best way to put this in is to kind of have, you'll probably need a helper, unless you're really strong, then you can just take the spring and kind of weasel it into the bed going back to forward up in here. You'll want this part of the spring up front to go underneath your support up front and the axle lower. Now, on this side, you guys got to be careful because on my truck specifically, this brake line got tight. So you don't want to damage, you don't want all that weight of your axle hanging down and damaging the brake line. There's mixed opinions about if you can hang from brake lines. I'm not going to talk about it, but yeah, just be careful that it doesn't get too tight. What you can do as well is you can take this block out at the bottom, if it helps. You will need to put it back in, but I'm just going to take it out for now. Now, what you can do as well is if you don't want to put that bolt in back the other way, you can put it in forward and the nut on the back. That's what I did the last 2 times on the trucks I did the leaf springs on. But the only thing you got to be careful about is sometimes if the threads are too long, it will hit the shackle here towards the back. Or the bracket, excuse me. Hammer's right here. Get this in quickly. Now, another thing you'll need for this project, if you're just replacing leaf springs, is you will need either a come along or a really strong ratchet strap because your axle will come out of alignment. And on my case, my axle slipped back. Yeah, I'm gonna need a come along or something, which I have. So I had to use that on the last 2 projects. So we'll take this, tighten this on down, nice and tight. Sorry, I impacted. Didn't mean to set you down that violently. There we go. Now the only thing I got to do on this side now is align the axle and what else did I say I was going to do? Oh, I put U-bolts on. Duh. In the meantime, I'm going to put this trailer hitch back on. What the world is the... There it is. All right, gotta come along now. I just attach it to the D-ring. You can detach like anywhere on the frame, you just take a chain and hook up the hook. You know, you can figure it out. Figure out your own anchoring points. I found the best spot on these things is just on the shock mount to hook, you know, a hook, and then we'll pull it forward just a little bit, and we should be good to go. Wow, I don't know what I said. Well, we should be good to go. Goodness gracious! All right, so I finally got the U-bolts in, or excuse me, the springs in place. Really, you just have to either get it come along, and you want to make sure that these bolts line up in the holes. I mean, I would say it's idiot-proof, but it can kind of deceive you, even me just now. I thought I had it in, but I didn't. So once everything is flush, everything will be in pretty good shape. Now, the thing is, I would normally be putting the overload spring back on, but like I said, I'm donating it to a friend of mine who has an F250, and he wants some overload springs for his truck, so I'm going to be taking these mounts off too as well, which isn't going to be fun for this one because this one's riveted on. But anyway, so I'm going to put these U-bolts on. Now, the thing is, my U-bolts are the same length, but I've taken about 1.5 inches off of what the U-bolts are supposed to hold down. So, you're not ever supposed to reuse U-bolts. Allegedly, I don't care, and I'm going to anyway. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put these spacers on here. Yes, these should work well. Yes, they are green, but I don't care. 2 of these bolts here, or excuse me, nuts. Tighten these on down. Put the other one on in. They're all in place. Again, put the spacers on. Good to go. I just hope I have enough. I'll have enough threads. I just don't know if I'll have enough space to get my impact on, because these U-bolts will stick out longer than they did before by a significant amount. So, sorry I keep getting my hands in the way. I'm sorry. Now what I can do, you can just start them. These aren't tight yet. Please tell me. Okay, I still have plenty of threads left. It's just getting to the part where they're not, they didn't go down as far before. So I'm cutting to, I guess, new territory, I guess, with these threads. And that's where I thought I was going to run into the problem where the bolt gets too, or the socket gets too shallow. Yep. Dang it. Well, I guess I can cut these off. And since this is my own trailer, I don't care. Yeah, I got them mostly tight though, so I don't really care. I guess I could find more spacers, but I don't really want to do that. So I will come back to these and get them tight. Torque spec for these U-bolts was 185 foot-pounds. So yeah. I was gonna go ahead and cut these bolts because I don't really care. And yeah. There we go. Now I can torque them down, or tighten them down for a little bit. I don't think my dad's torque wrench goes to 185 here, but we'll see. Well, other than the odd-looking green, it doesn't look half bad. she goes. Won't need any of that anymore. Alright guys, so I'm going to conclude today's video. Now, before you guys say anything, I do know these springs aren't the best in the world. They're rusty a little bit. And they do have the potential to break in the future. Everything has the potential to break in the future. But at least they'll be even on either side. And I know where they both came from. And I'm confident that they will last for a while. I'm not going to be overloading this thing so much. I might put a slide-in truck bed camper into the back of this thing at some point one day, but we'll have to see what I'll get away with. But for now, I'm going to conclude today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. This is Ezra, signing off.